Welcome to another episode of the Online Prosperity Experience podcast. You're about to hear your host, Prosper Taravinga's powerful digital marketing strategies and actionable tactics that you can use right now. Prosper has helped more than 50,000 people from over 10 countries to create meaningful businesses that are profitable and enjoyable. Listen to this podcast so that you too can build your own business with less stress and overwhelm. Let's get started.
Who said you have to be on social media to market your business? I can understand right now your brain is about to bend into a pretzel because you're like, wait a minute, what do you mean I can actually grow a business without using social media? Well, I'm here to tell you that that is very, very possible. And I've got over 365 days worth of proof to tell you and show you that I've actually grown my business in the last year with way more quality leads than I've ever done while I was using social media as a traffic source for generating leads. So in this podcast today, we're going to be talking about how to generate sales leads without using social media and why it's actually dangerous to focus your business on social media alone. And I know you probably have your reservations and beliefs that you think social media is the be it and end all. And I'm here to tell you, nada, zero. You do not need social media to actually create a business that's profitable and enjoyable. And now you're probably thinking, wait a minute, who is this guy and why is he road mapping? Well, let me tell you something. I've built one of the most successful digital marketing agencies you know right now. There are others out there, but the one that I know that I've built, we've done it solely from using the strategies I'm going to be telling you today. And not so much social media, even though it's needed as part of your marketing arsenal, but you desperately do not need to be worshiping Mark Zuckerberg and any of the other gods out there like Elon Musk that own these social media platforms. And if you're passionate about doing work that is meant, to be out there in the world and you're meant to be doing, and also living an inspired life while you're doing it, I want to tell you that you're in the right place, my friend, and you're listening to the right information. Because once you know what you're about to know, you, my friend, will actually build a brand that you're proud of and create a lifestyle that you love. Let me tell you something. A lot of coaches and consultants that I meet are always tethered to the phone, all right? They're always looking at who has tweeted what, who has said what, and who is commenting on whatever piece of content or information that they have put out there. So they don't quite have freedom and time all at the same time, so to speak. And even they're not making as much money because I'm behind a lot of businesses and I can see exactly what is happening. Yes, I can understand when these platforms were sort of getting started, traction was there, you could reach as many of your audiences as possible and you being present was enough. But these days, man, it's all just smoke and mirrors. And you literally can, divert your marketing funds, strategy, and efforts to actually start creating for and relating to an audience without even stepping onto social media. And I'm going to say this with utmost love and respect. The reason why I'm saying this is I was talking to a new client or prospect and they were like, you know what, I think you're a bit sassy because I've never seen your profile on social media for me to see what it is that you've been doing. And I politely told them, you're right, I do not have any social media platforms. Yes, it so happened that in December of 2021 I had enough of all the stuff that was happening in the world at that particular time, so much that I just wanted to have my sanity, so I deleted my Facebook profile. And then ever since then, that has been the best time of my life. I kid you not, I used to be on the forefront of anything to do with social media. I was one of the first people to go live on social media. I even created a program that people were now tuning into. It was called Lunch and Learn with Prosper, and I would show up every single day at 2 p.m. AST without fail, and I would give people value based on what I knew at that particular time. And people were tuning in, and for 30 minutes every single day, I was giving in free content, and I did get a bit of traction. But I want to tell you the utmost truth about that time. It was one of the hardest times in my business, and I didn't quite get that much traction. Even though I had thousands of people that were tuning in every single day, I hardly got any business out of it. It was just a vanity matrix. It was just my ego, showing up, and me sort of showing my wife that, hey, something is happening, but my bank balance was not reflecting the same. And if people can hear me from the times that they were following me from those days, they thought I was doing okay, but no, it was one of the hardest times. I remember I actually went through a winter here in Australia where temperatures go to as low as 7 degrees. I know if you're in America or in the UK, you might think, oh, come on, that's summer for us. But for us, that is a winter. We went through that winter with no heating. You know why? Because the heating in our house just went bust one day, and I did not have $2,450 to get the engineer to actually come and fix it. For 3 weeks, my little girl, who was 2 years old by that time, actually went through a winter with just wearing as many clothes as she possibly could, endure from her mom. And we were all just, I have pictures to prove this time in my life. And, to think of it, and that's when I was showing up, telling everybody else that you can live your dreams, you can do and have a happier existence. Yet I was, going through the hardest time in my life, all through social media. People were liking, commenting, and sharing my stuff, but none of that was turning into money. None of that was turning into, any tangible business. Even though they could say that's when I built, the equity within my business or the goodwill. But guess what? I can't take goodwill to the bank. And in the last 1 year, when I was seriously not on social media, I woke up happy. I started meditating. I really started feeling good about my business. I really started feeling good about my life. I recommitted myself to my wife. I recommitted myself to the business. And it's been the best time ever since. You know why? Because on social media, it's just pixels, and it's uninformed pixels that are just trying to connect with other uninformed people. And it just doesn't make sense to be getting information from, things that are controlled by an algorithm. So I'm going to be going through all of this stuff and why you seriously should consider creating assets within your business that don't necessarily depend on you being on social media in order for you to generate leads for yourself. Okay. See, if you look at what most businesses are focusing on, especially when it comes to marketing, and you would likely see that social media is on top of that list. Like I'm telling you, the reason why this podcast has been triggered is somebody that I was talking to on the phone is like, hey, I don't believe any of the stuff that you're saying because you're not on social media. I need to see proof of that actually working. And I'm like, wait a minute. The fact that we're actually on this call should tell you that you haven't seen me on social media, yet we are communicating. So, they probably a psyop in and of themselves. And if you don't understand what a psyop is, please look that up. And then you've learned something else. And then you'd also start to notice why it's very imperative for you to actually start working on your own properties that you can control instead of going, begging the Mark Zuckerbergs and the Elon Musks to actually have mercy on your business so that you can show up to the people that don't even care about hearing what it is that you got to talk about. You see, the one thing about social media and the markets that we're dealing with right now, they're just conversations, and they're conversations that are waiting to be realized. And what people are talking about and what they are passionate about is what we should be creating and instigating so that we can be part of those communities that they're sort of creating online. You know what I mean? Some conversations might last for a while and some might actually fade. You just need to pick the conversations that people will continuously want to be a part of their life. So it could be, their health, their wealth, their relationships, or whatever it is. Pick the conversations that are not just timely so that you actually stay relevant to the people that you're going to be, talking to. So the internet that we know now is no longer this whole communicated social space. It's now just a place, where nothing really matters anymore. And if people don't like you, you get canceled. So wouldn't that be nice that you actually create your own, area that you feel like you belong? And you can actually, create for and relate to the people without having to, succumb to all the dopamine and all those ups and downs that come with social media. You can tell I'm a bit salty about this, and this is going to be a really good podcast if you actually pay attention. I just want to simplify marketing for you so that you can create a business that's profitable and enjoyable. And like I was saying, a lot of people in your industry focus on social media, all right? Because it's easy. It's easy to just tick a box that I've done a meme, you know what I mean? And they have not actually created anything of note, anything of substance, you know what I mean? And it's quite dangerous to put a lot of focus on your social media. And like I named this podcast, who said you have to be on social media to market your business? Who said you have to be on social media to have a business that's profitable and enjoyable? Who said you have to be on social media in order for you to reach out to your audience and solve the problems that they're facing? That is a big myth, and it's simply not true. There, I said it. I told you, you heard it from me. Not first, but you've heard it from me, okay? The internet now is awash with anyone, because anyone with a anyone with an opinion, because anyone with a pair of sweatpants and a laptop and, an internet connection can call themselves a guru. And we are now living in so much disinformation, so much that we don't even know what's real and what's not. And so some of it has stuck long enough that it has now become, the reality of what other people are saying. You know what I mean? And you do not have to be on social media to market your business. That is a lie. I'm sure Mark Zuckerberg started those rumors and they have spread around the world. And now Elon Musk has gone about to buy a social, media platform in the name of Twitter. He could have just downloaded it for free like the rest of us, and he would have realized that it wasn't worth the $44 billion that he paid for it, unless he's just doing it so he can grab people's information and impose his control on them. But otherwise, it's not important. All right, so listen to me. Social media has its place in business, but it should actually be like less than 20% of your entire marketing effort, because social media just so happens to be a platform where everybody congregates. You need to be taking those people back to your own properties, okay? It's like going to a shopping mall. I can believe if you're listening to this podcast, you've got access to a shopping mall. When you go to a shopping mall, there's like a lot of people that are in there. There's a lot of shops that are in there. And there's also those shops that are in the middle of the aisle, okay? So that is the shopping center in and of itself represents social media. Everybody is just out and about looking for whatever they're looking for. Some are going to go in a clothes shop. Some are going to go in a utility shop. Some are going to go into a grocery shop. People are in and around on a different agenda, coming in for different things. Some people are just coming to meet each other at a coffee shop, okay? So you can't sell things to people that are not looking at what you've got to offer. So can you imagine if you're at that shopping mall and you're just trying to sell stuff to people that are just walking? Half of the time they ignore you, even if you are, giving them, free things. Some people don't even take it. So social media is like that shopping center where people are just on their way to go somewhere. So that somewhere better be your website. That somewhere better be your podcast. That somewhere better be a place where you have created for them and you are starting to relate with them away from the noise and the humdrum of everything else that happens in a shopping center. So certainly social media has its place. Yes, you can use it as a draw or as a place where you get people and you get that awareness, but you don't want to have it be and to be the B8 and end all of your whole marketing effort. So focusing more than it's simply focusing a lot of your time on social media is just a waste of your time, because everybody knows you'll never beat the algorithm. All right, you will never beat the algorithm, no matter how much you think you've got it. It's designed not to be beaten. It's like the casino. You will never beat the house. Yes, you might win a couple of hands here and there, but the house always wins. So social is actually an optional tool, and if you're using it, not it using you, because I used to find myself scrolling, just finding out what's the latest thing, what is everybody up to. Even people that I just met in a bar once 7 years ago, I don't even remember what they look like, but I'm still following them on social media. You will find that is also happening with you. There's a bunch of reasons why relying on social media is a dangerous game to play, and I'm gonna lay it all out today. I'm sorry to the person that I was with on the call. You could just tell from me how I thought so little of yourself. So I'm really sorry. I'm feeling bad for you. But if you know what I know now, you would literally just go and delete any platform that you're on and actually start creating work that matters for people who actually care. The first thing about social media is you own nothing. Unless maybe you succumb to the whole psyop of you will own nothing and you'll be happy. I mean, I don't believe in no ownership. I believe we came to the top of the food chain in order for us to rule over our own domain. And I think we've got we are the masters of our own destination. So on social media, you don't own your social channels. So straight away, you're just working on rented property. Social media is a place where there's so much information, yet the actual platforms do not generate any of the content themselves. It is you that is working day and night to make sure that people keep engaged on those platforms and things of that nature. And you're actually wasting a lot of time, money, and effort for no apparent return that you're actually receiving. Okay, much like when you are renting a house. Why would you spend time making it better only for the owner to benefit, without you having that actual ownership of the platform? Take full ownership of your content. Take full ownership of what you're putting out there. Identify your market and bring them home to you, to your owned properties. That is where you can actually, have say in how you want to connect with these people. You need to have direct access to the people that you're going to be demanding money off of, okay? And one of the things that happens on social media is you will never win, okay? You'll never beat the algorithm. It's designed for it to work like that. It's designed to make Mark Zuckerberg money. It's designed to make the board of directors a lot of money. These platforms are not designed to be beaten. So why spend hours and weeks trying to learn how to beat them? It's never gonna happen. It's like trying to win in the casino. Yes, they might give you $10 here and there just to keep you going, but you will lose your sanity, you will lose your money, and a whole bunch of time in the process. And after that, they never offer you a discount, to a mental health institution, because whatever is being put on there is not designed for people that have got their wits about them, all right? And one other thing is, if you're a business, you want to reach as many people as possible so you can sell your products. Now, why are you forcing reach where reach is dead? I mean, I think it was one of those things that was declared on Facebook that organic reach is just dead right now. D-E-A-D, dead. All right? So organic reach is just about dead. So you actually need to spend more time on various tools, like either you're doing lives, you're doing reels, you're doing stories, just to get some sort of level of engagement, which just equals to sort of more time with no actual result. Okay, so maybe we might just be focusing on Facebook here, but even with LinkedIn, there's a lot of automation tools that are behind the scenes. Just type in automate LinkedIn automation and you will see there's tons and tons and tons of robots that are actually pumping out content out there. So you can't you can't mess with this sort of algorithms and things of that nature. So what makes you think you will win this race? It's actually a race to the bottom, and guess what, you might actually win it to the bottom. All right. So and one other thing about social media, especially with Facebook, it's the vanity side of things. Let me tell you something. Vanity doesn't pay the bills. If you were paying attention to my story earlier on, where I was showing up, I had all this stuff and lives and videos going on, yet I was a public success, yet I was a private failure. Vanity does not pay the bills, bruh. Vanity Matrix do not pay your mortgage. They're not going to fly. Yes, you can go and rent a Lamborghini, a Ferrari, and show up and fly private and things of that nature. But do you actually have the residual income that actually creates wealth? Do you actually have the assets? Do you actually have the actual money and passive income and all that other income that constitutes somebody's actually wealthy? So an obsession with likes and comments is just a waste of everybody else's time. Facebook doesn't care, whether you created your content yesterday. If you're not showing up in the newsfeed, you are as dead as not, you've never existed. So Facebook lives don't feed your family or pay your mortgage. Pay for your electricity, thing for the heating system in your house. And it's just a massive time suck. Can you imagine all that time that you're sitting with your family? Maybe it's a holiday, or you are just scrolling through Facebook just to see if people have liked or commented or anything that you did out there. It's just a massive time suck. You know what I do these days? I go cycling every Saturday with my little girl. We don't even post that. We just talk and we're just having fun. I'm teaching her to start her own business. You don't even know any of that stuff that's out there. I'm reading 4 hours a day. That would have been like content. That would have been like, hey, listen, look at what I'm doing. Taking selfies and reels of me reading and pretending like that's how you make money. No. It's just a time suck. You're doing, and you're trying to impress people that don't even care of your own existence. You know what I mean? It's when I left Facebook, I thought people were gonna call and I'll see condolence messages and things like that, because I thought people would think I was dead. But guess what? People moved on. Just, I'm going to say this with utmost love and respect. If you've had somebody die in your family or somebody that maybe the first couple of days people will be sorry and feeling sad of your loss and departure and things like that. But as soon as you go, guess what? As soon as it's a week or so, they're back to their lives. They're back to whatever they were doing. Yes, every year they might remember you of your existence, but the longer it is, then you're gone. Now, can you imagine you leaving Facebook or social media? Nobody cares. So it's just a massive time suck for you to not be doing things that actually matter to you and your loved ones. It is easy to go down the scroll hole, that's what I call it, and come up an hour or two later with nothing, having created nothing, having connected with nobody, having done nothing to change your life, your net worth, or anything of that nature. And not only as a user, but even as a business owner, spending time trying to figure it all out, only for it to change as soon as you feel like you've mastered it. The algorithm is constantly changing. You're dealing with robots, and you're never going to win because the robots are taking over. The other thing that could also happen is if you start saying things they don't like, they could ban you whenever. Because the social media gods, God forbid them, they can literally ban you at any time. I've probably been given a Facebook jail. My wife is the funniest one. She sells stuff on a marketplace, and sometimes some of the things are sort of copywritten things that she then ends up selling, and she gets banned, or she gets this Facebook slaps, or she gets put in Facebook jail. It's just not a way to live your life. I've told her to create an e-commerce book, but page, but for her it's not a serious thing. But I think that's how a lot of people are living their lives. And you can get banned for just the smallest thing, just because their bots don't actually understand the context of language. Or if you're actually using social media as your marketing tool, they think you are just spraying and praying, and you could lose big time if you're actually locked out. It's happened to me, and I've just decided, you know what, I don't care anymore to come back to your profiles. There's better ways, man. There is a lot of better ways out there. There are better and more effective ways for you to market your business, because business survived way longer before social media, and you certainly can survive without it right now. And believe me, it's gonna be there. Like, look at what has happened in the last sort of 4 years. Facebook has stolen everything that Snapchat came up with. That whole 10-minute fandango, or whatever it is the kids are doing these days, where you just show up for 10 minutes. Facebook stole that, and now it's called Reels or whatever it is. You see, I'm not even in tune with what is happening. You know what I care about? I care about what my target market wants me to do for them. That is what I spend my time doing. All right. Half of these things you might learn how to do it, and at the end of the day, they might not mean anything. You see, so if you're really looking for ways to generate sales without, losing your brain, because one other thing about social media is it's bad for your brain. It has been proven that there's a negative impact on your brain, your mindset, anxiety levels, and overall happiness. And if you look in the conspiracy sort of areas, you can actually see how they're manipulating the algorithm so that they can win elections, so that they can win whatever way of life that they want people to start living in. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, yes, it looks like it is the be it and end all, but it's not. It really is not. And I get that social media can become really ingrained in our lifestyle and in our business world. But you know what? I use it as a business, not as a personal, person. But it's a very small part of my, activities and everything else that I do. You could use SEO, which is search engine optimization. I've actually started teaching people how SEO is not all about the robots. It is simply educating others. SEO, simply educating others. What can you teach people about what you're producing? How can you reach out to them with your consulting, your training, your information, your expertise? And people that are actually, looking with an intention to buy, to take it to Google to actually find out who is the best person to give them information about what it is that they're looking for. All right. So despite what many people think about search engine optimization, it is the best way. You need to ensure that your website is performing well and can actually be found where people are actually, looking for you. And you can just simply educate people about what it is that you're doing and how you can actually be the provider of that information, that can help them solve the problems that they might be facing. Another way for you to actually get off Facebook is to actually network in real life. Because networking is actually a great way to generate sales leads, because it actually enables you to maybe build a trusted relationship as quickly as possible, and people buy from those that they know, like, and trust. So before people actually decide doing work with you, they want to know who it is that they're buying from. So when they network with you, they can actually get to know you a little bit faster than it is. Because on social media, we show up as our own representatives. It does not literally show who exactly you are, because it's just showing you, the people that you're going to be meeting, an online version. And especially these days with this metaverse, where you're, looking at a virtual reality or virtual person of yours. I don't know how people are doing it these days. Every time I get to look at social media, it's like, it's like a dog's breakfast. I don't know. It's just egos. It's just vanity. Everything else that is designed not to be the best thing in our lives is what you get to, feed your brain every single day. And one other way for you to get off social media is just engage with your past clients. Find out what it is that they used to buy from you. How did they find you? And how else are they connecting with you? And just email them, okay? If you've been working on growing an email list, then you want to send regular emails now to really connect with your audience. I recommend sending valuable and helpful content to your subscribers. And the one thing about an email campaign is you own it. Okay, you actually own it. And for you to generate sales leads, you actually need to show up in your your customers or your prospects mailbox regularly. As much as, instead of you putting a budget on social media, why don't you put that into something that you own? Because with social media, you have to keep performing. You're not a show pony. All right, with email marketing, you can set it up, and if you notice that these posts or these emails are doing well, then you create it into a nurture campaign. And why not just really look at it in that way? So to really summarize, I know I touched up on a lot of things, opened up a lot of loops, and a lot of people's brains are now turned into a pretzel because they were hoping that I was going to tell them some quick wins on how to actually win it at social media. Let me tell you something. It is not going to be your friend. And, if that's how you plan to work on your business, then I'm not the guy for you. But to just summarize, here are the 7 ways that you can actually generate leads for your service business, especially if you're a coach or consultant, without using social media. One of them is SEO. You can go networking. Look at your local market and be involved in the activities that are happening there. Engage with your past clients, like I mentioned, and try and email them so that you can remind them of your existence. You can actually host an event or an online workshop, and you can actually start using paid advertising if you have now found the right message for your audience, and I recommend having around 3 to 5 strategies to actually attract new leads, and you can expand your reach and open up your business to more opportunities. At the end of the day, if you're having trouble with lead generation strategies, it will actually reduce your reach to your people, and it actually makes you feel like nobody wants to buy your stuff. But let me tell you something, social media is not your friend. It is not your friend. You want to be creating your own content in your own platforms, just like I've just done on this podcast. Guess what? I've created this podcast today. It's still going to be relevant in 10 years, in 40 years, in 50 years, unless somebody deletes it off the internet. And that somebody would be me, and I'm not going to do that. But with social media, guess what? If they don't like what you just say, they can delete that post. Now, wouldn't you want to be in control of what you're creating? I don't know what you're going to do with this information, but I'm hoping you are actually going to notice that focusing on social media is actually dangerous for your business. I want you to have a business that's profitable and enjoyable. Do what you may with this information. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, let's continue the conversation in the Live Long Digital community. Become a Live Long Digital community member today. This community is for ambitious entrepreneurs and small business owners with the drive to take control of the future of their businesses and achieve huge success without stress and overwhelm. As you heard, Prosper can help you by teaching you marketing strategies that work. So look no further than the Live Long Digital community of entrepreneurs and highly successful business owners. Join our community today. Find us on www.community.livelongdigital.com.au. Network with other driven entrepreneurs and find the expert guidance you need to take your business to the next level. www.community.livelongdigital.com.au